Let's talk about stakeholder management, one of the knowledge areas of project management as well. And stakeholder management is maybe one of the areas that I, as a change manager, am most fond of. I believe that there's so much hidden opportunity in the conversations and interaction that we can have with our key stakeholders in the project that we need to get much better at it. Okay, so stakeholder, what does it actually mean and what is stakeholder engagement? So a stakeholder is any person that has any interest or any impact or is impacted by your project. So really any person in the orbit of your project. And it doesn't need to be a person per se, it could also be a voiceless stakeholder. So often we forget a stakeholder that doesn't have a voice for themselves, and that could be our environment or the future generations, where we need to identify spokespeople that represent these voiceless stakeholders. And as a rule of thumb, the stakeholder you forget is the stakeholder that's going to hurt you the most. So make sure that you are as complete as possible when you list your original stakeholder groups, so that you don't have any blind spots. What I find is a really good idea is talking to as many people as possible and talking to some of the easy to identify stakeholders in order to identify the ones that are hidden from me, that are in the hidden organization, that are not on the official hierarchies, but that are as impactful or as invested in my project. After we identified our stakeholders, we want to analyze our stakeholders, and to analyze our stakeholders, there's a very common way of using a 2x2 grid, and we have two axes of interest and impact, and we analyze our people into the 4 different quadrants. Another very popular way of looking at stakeholders is the salience model, that looks at 3 Venn bubbles that are overlapping, that are also interest and power, or interest and influence or impact, and urgency as well. So that is a really good way of looking at that as well. Sometimes certain stakeholders have a higher level of urgency, so they may actually be more pressing onto your project if they have no urgency whatsoever. And another really cool tool I like from the more lean change kind of space is your change blast radius, and that is looking at the stakeholders from your change in the inside and then your project or core team, and as it spreads out into the wider orbit, who are the people that it is touching on that are interested or invested in our project as well. Then once we have analyzed our stakeholders, we want to make sure that we land on the engagement strategy that we want to choose for them. And engagement is a way of saying, how do we want to connect with our stakeholders? I really like the term of connecting with them. How are we going to build a relationship, some trust, and how are we going to involve them in some form where either we can get information from them or we can impart information to them as well. So what is our connection or engagement model, and what is the level of engagement that we want to give these stakeholders? Based on our ranking in the analysis, we will give our higher ranked stakeholders more attention and our lower ranked stakeholders a little bit of a broader brush, so more of a broadcasting kind of approach. And the 5 levels of stakeholder engagement go from a low-level engagement of informing, so more so sending them broadcast messages or posters or emails or something like that, to consulting, so maybe asking them via a survey or an open letter to contribute some of their information, to involving, where we maybe do involve them at certain milestones through workshops or some of interactive kind of sessions in our project as well, over to collaborating or co-creating some of our project outcomes or change outcomes with them, all the way up to empowering them and making them the change makers or making them the leaders of the project, with us behind them as facilitators or enablers. And so I quite like the 5 levels of stakeholder engagement in order for me to say, okay, I do have now analyzed my stakeholders and I've ranked them, and I don't need to treat all my stakeholders with the same brush, but I'm going to spread them across the different levels in order to free up some of my time and make them part of this, or like make them work for me as well. I might have a fairly small project team, but a large base of stakeholders. So I want to know who are some of these change champions or key stakeholders that can actually take some of the load from me, and I can empower them to be my project team, so to speak, as well. And then once we have decided that, we're actually going to have to put a strategy together as to how we're going to communicate with them and what instances we're going to engage with them and connect with them. And then we just got to execute that. So that's stakeholder management in a nutshell. I hope you found this different lens on stakeholder management helpful for your change and project management. I'd like to hear in the comments below how you do that in your projects, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.